I'm not very good at Zoom, so
Oh,
hopefully it'll work.
bless.
I know. So Jane, shall I hand over to you?
Thank you so much, Sonia. My pleasure. Well, it's not that I'm a complete PR guru, because I'm not trending on TikTok or 50,000 followers on social media. It's not quite the same, but I've managed to land a whole load of very high profile PR opportunities without ever paying for it. And there seem to be some reasonably simple things that we could all do to be able to gain much more publicity without shelling out any pennies or paying for advertising and so on. And so I thought I'd run through some of them. And in essence, do you remember Levi Roots when he came onto Dragon's Den? Most of us will have seen that. Well, before he even showed his face, he was playing a guitar and walking up the stairs, and all the dragons were melting on the spot because they just were enchanted before he arrived. And then, if you did watch his process with the dragons, he actually messed it up. He got his figures completely wrong. He said he'd got an order that he hadn't got. When they looked at the paperwork, it wasn't actually an order, it was like an interest. And normally they'd have trounced these people out, you're a failure, out you go. But he'd won them over. And to this day, we all remember Levi Roots. He was memorable. And I think the key to getting all the luck coming your way is about being memorable. So one thing, it's not possible in all cases. So Duncan, you're with Sutcliffe and Co Insurance, for example. But at least people will have a hint that it's insurance. If somebody's called their company, JNR Limited, and I meet lots of companies called, S&T and all of that, that's not telling people what you do. So that's not helping people to remember you. And I tell you, I went to pitch for getting mentoring, free mentoring from Ford Motor Company. And they were choosing 2 companies only. And there were masses of people going for it. And I swear I got awarded it when I went, hello, I'm from the English Cream Tea Company. I swear that was the moment that they went, she's got it. So it helps if you've got an interesting company. If I was from, hello, I'm from the Metal Widget Company, it's definitely not quite as easy. So have you named yourself something interesting? And I don't know whether this will work. Oh, it might do. I don't know if you can see what my business title is. Does that actually show up?
Chief Scone Gnome, does it say?
I am the Chief Scone Gnome. Now, I've had a whole debate on LinkedIn about this. And some chaps thought it was very demeaning. Why would you do that about your business? People won't take you seriously. Well, as long as the business is thriving, they will. But if you can make yourself memorable, and I have got publicity in papers on the back of that, people going, Chief Scone, no, I need to know more about that. So if you can give yourself an edge, just an edge, that's all it is, in this sea of information coming at you. We are bombarded with, internet and meeting people and so on. And so I just say, maybe it would make a difference. Don't overlook it. So poor old things at Ford's, they landed up with me and they've mentored me now for 5 years. I also wear red on the whole when I'm being interviewed and so on. Maybe it's just giving an edge. I met a chap who was a creative chap, and he wore crazy ties, and it was always, I'm the creative guy with the creative tie. But I've never forgotten him, and I met him maybe 15 years ago. So there's a balance between being corny, being unprofessional, but the fact of it is that humans remember silly, they remember rude. Now, I can't really go to rude, because my company's brand is not about that. But they remember fun, silly, rude, and emotional. Things that get you there. They may not remember facts and figures at all. So I also am a very lucky person. So hands up if you've found 4-leaf clovers. Sonia and Guri and Lorraine, have you got lots of them? Was it kind of a one-off?
I could, so my funny story, I can actually get my 4-leaf clover. It's in a key ring. And my family were in a pub garden, and I was about 3 years old, and I was obviously doing all of their heads in. And my granddad went, just go and play and find a square 4-leaf clover. So I looked under the table and I went, here's one. And everyone just fell about laughing. And I didn't know from that day, my granddad had put it into a key ring, and he gave it me when I was about 27, and he'd kept it for years. Yeah. So I've still got it. It's on my keys.
That's lovely.
I know.
Well, I've got loads of them. And the truth is, I'm not necessarily luckier than anyone else, but I probably spend more time looking for them than you guys do. And Ben and Duncan and Chris, I don't think your hands went up, or Lorraine maybe. So yes, so sometimes you need to search for your luck. It's not right in your face, but I find 4-leaf clovers all the time. But then I tend to look for them when I'm out and about. It's just a food for thought. So I've had a lot of luck. I sat next to someone at an event and got chatting, and it was all very lovely, but they turned out to be very influential. And the next thing I knew, I was in British Airways magazine and a high flyer thing, and had an article in there because they liked the story of the business. That was lucky. And so I also went on a retreat for 4 days, and somebody who worked for the BBC was there. And when an article on afternoon tea came up for the Queen's Jubilee, I got 3 minutes of TV on the BBC. I didn't earn it. That was lucky, but it might be that luck is all around you. And if you're able to be memorable in some way, not too contrived, but just genuinely, I met a journalist and got talking about catering. And from that time on, he would contact me if any articles involved food. So it just somehow stuck in his mind. So that was very lucky. Well, another bit of luck was that I entered a competition, and I do urge you to enter competitions because you get before, during and after publicity if you're a finalist. It might be then you've got to reach the top 20 and you'll be mentioned in the papers. And then afterwards, you might have come 9th or something, but you might get mentioned in the papers. And if you win, bonus. So I've got something here. It's a bit ridiculous. And I don't show it to show off, but it says Businesswoman of the Year. Now, I won it. I promise I am not the Businesswoman of the Year in any sense other than that whatsoever. My company would be flying far higher and we'd have much more money if I really was the Businesswoman of the Year. But I saw it and I just thought, well, I'll have a go. Now, the bonus is that when you enter a competition, it makes you think, well, we have done that. And, oh, yes, we've done this. And it just gets you to put your thoughts together and look back and see what you've managed to achieve. But it came down to the top 10 people had to go and be interviewed by Wilmot Dixon, which is a huge building company. And so I went along, and of course I had scones or scones with me because they go everywhere I go. That did give me an advantage, I have to tell you. Oh, here comes Christina. So I was waiting outside for my chance to go in and meet the panel of people. And I knew if they asked about money and statistics and, you know, details that I'm very poor on, I'd like, blah, blah, blah. I wouldn't be able to be eloquent and fluent. Hi, Christina, nice to see you.
Hi.
So the first lady came out of the room from the panelists. And now this was only, maybe only 4 years ago. I can't find the date. Oh, 2017, 4 years ago. The first lady came out, having gone for Businesswoman of the Year. She was wearing a pink tracksuit and she was chewing gum. And she came out of the room and she went, piece of piss. I thought, well, I don't know that that's the right approach for the Businesswoman of the Year. I'm not really expecting that. And mentally, I thought, maybe I'm 1 out of 9 now. Anyway, the next person was due to go in. She burst into tears, never made it in the room. I thought, I might be 1 out of 8 now. So I went in, they didn't ask about any of the stuff I'm hopeless at. I mean, I was really lucky. I was able to give them scones and we had a good laugh, and I talked about what we could do for customers and our story and so on. And so it was all about the stuff I was happy to chat about and be natural. And then there was a great big awards night. And 500 people were there, and it wasn't a scam. It wasn't where you had to pay £150 for your ticket. It wasn't any of that. It was all free. And lo and behold, they did announce my name as Businesswoman of the Year. There was a microphone nearby, and my husband went, "What?" which reverberated around the whole room.
Your Roger's relationship is a lovely one.
Oh, he has no faith in me at all. Let's see if I can do this. Well, in fairness, you know, I'm not really, as I said, a true Businesswoman of the Year. I don't know if you can see that. Does that work?
Yeah, we've got that.
So, yes. And it was fancy schmancy and amazing and hilarious. So have a go. You just don't know. And I got publicity before, mentioned with lots of people, and then lots of publicity when I actually won. Anyway, another sort of whole page. And then afterwards, and then you can add it to your business cards or your emails and so on. So just have a go. Hi, Liga. Just have a go is what I say.
Hi, Christina. Jane, can I just ask, so on that point, and you say you've been very lucky, I believe you make your own luck to a certain extent. Do you think that you are very good at spotting or attracting or being attracted to situations, events, opportunities that you know kind of you've got a good chance of doing well at? So maybe an event that was more focused on turnover and figures, you know yourself that you're not good at that, so you're really good at picking out the things that align to who you are in your business story.
Well, I have tried the other ones, and even as I'm filling them in, I'm thinking this isn't going to impress anyone. No. But it hasn't stopped me from having a go, because it depends what they're looking for in the person. So yes, I'm only mentioning that one because I did win it, but there have been plenty I've gone in for. But you can still get mileage out of being a finalist. And again, it's a really good process of putting in the information, even if it's me going, gosh, that's not very good. As I write it in, it's something for me to learn from it.
Where do you find them? Where do you find the places that you've been?
That's a very good question. Sometimes pure luck. Word of mouth. Pronto Print was a nationwide printing company, and I used to go to my local one, and they told me about an entrepreneurs competition, and that was lucky for me because I entered. But I use an Apple Mac, and I couldn't get the Mac to work with their online fill in here your entry. It would not work. It wasn't made for Mac. So I phoned up the organisers and I said, I'm having terrible trouble, actually. I'm trying to enter. This fellow said, well, look, don't worry, we haven't designed it well. Just tell me your stuff over the phone. Well, that gave me an edge because I got to chat with this man and laugh with this man, and we're in rapport. And he went, well, I can already tell you, you're in the top 3. All because my Mac wouldn't work. So that was lucky, I guess. Another situation is I went on a course called KPI, Key Person of Influence, with Daniel Priestley. Some of you will know Daniel, wonderful chap. And luckily for me, there have been no other people who run an afternoon tea business on his course. And so when he was on LBC recently, he was asked if he could help people who had that sort of company, food, retail and gifts. And he went, yes. And he spoke for about 6 minutes about my company. Like, how lucky is that? So having a niche and making yourself separate and different is amazing. Well, here's another one for you. Take photos wherever you can, even of backstories, not grand stuff, but moments. And I was asked to go and give a talk. Let me see if I can share this. because the British naturists, do we know what I'm talking about here, wanted to talk on afternoon tea at a hotel. So we're talking 150 people without their clothes on. So I found the whole thing just wonderful and hilarious. Here was one of the chaps. Can you see him? Absolutely hilarious. 150 people all sitting there. I tell you, they couldn't tuck their napkins in. Also, they also couldn't buy my book after the event because none of them carried money with them, which is funny. But, no, I know, they were so nice, but I put it on Facebook. I got permission from the naturists to be able to do this, and I put it on Facebook, and the local paper saw it on my Facebook page, God knows how, and did this huge article. I'm trying to get it to open up. I wonder if it will. And the article, here we are. Oh no, it's a different one, blast. So the article was called No Cream Horns in Sight. And I had 2 pages of me with the naked people. But that ran and ran and ran. And every time I went to an event, they were, oh, you've got your clothes on. I never took mine off, but it didn't matter. It was just a hoot and people found it memorable. I'm back to that. Try and make yourself stick out in people's minds. So that was amazing. And here's another photo for you. Let me see if I can get this one to open. It was just a little social media moment. So we got asked to cater for The Only Way is Essex. Ooh. You know the programme. My husband Roger, who is not into that sort of thing at all, he was presented with this siren. Can you see her? And all he was concerned was, sorry, you've taken 3 napkins. Can I have 2 back, please? He didn't care that she was like this voluptuous, amazing creature. He was just concerned about how much lasagna she had. And, you know, so things like that can be hilarious. And you can get across about your business, but without being obvious, because people will share that stuff and enjoy that stuff just because it's downright funny. Oh, funny, Roger. So have your camera to hand if you possibly can. Now, here's another tip. Do you all know about hashtag journolink? Journolink, like the beginning of the word journalist, but it's JOURNOLINK. If you put that into Twitter or other social media, you get what the press are looking for. Joyce has heard of it. You get what topics people are looking for. And that's another thing I've done, Sonia. Just sometimes, you know, see if anybody's talking about my world that I could just go, oh, I might be able to help with that. So have a go with journolink. But I suggest you have proper headshots taken. Something homemade probably won't do if you're supplying press releases and info about you. And so have a professional headshot done. It can be terribly flattering. They teach you how to separate your neck from your shoulders and get a better chin line like that, you see. But it's all good fun. So keeping your snaps, looking on journolink, looking for opportunities that are memorable. These are all my favorite things. I also had the opportunity of luck because Guinness World Records rang us just 6 months after we began and said, you're the English cream tea company. Would you like to set a world record for the largest cream tea ever? I went, yes. And that was it. They said, we'll get back to you. So I rushed into poor suffering husband and said, we're going to do a world record for the largest cream tea. He went, well, what does that mean? I went, oh, I didn't really ask. He said, well, look, are they talking, 7-foot scones gone with 28 gallons of cream on it? And I went, oh, I don't know. Or he said, are you talking 20,000 people that we've got to feed for free? And then we'll be out of business. I went, I'll ask more. I'll find out more. Anyway, see, I've got here. I wonder if this will show. Can you see that?
Yeah.
That's me getting a Guinness World Record for the largest English cream tea party in the world. It was fantastic. It was such fun. You get to have one of these. But the unexpected thing, because I sort of went in for it because it would be hilarious, it gave us, I swear, 32 pages unbroken on Google if you just put in the words English cream tea, which is a generic term for scones, cream, jam, and a cup of tea. If you just put that in, for years, you only got our company. You didn't get Wikipedia, you didn't get adverts, you couldn't legislate for something like that. It was a remarkable experience. So I wonder if there's a Guinness World Record in your company, something extraordinary. I'm just throwing it out there as food for thought. So that was an amazing opportunity. Let me find you some other opportunities too. So the FSB, hands up if you are a member of the FSB. Kathy is, Lorraine is, and that's it. So have you heard of it? It's Federation of Small Businesses. It's about small businesses like us guys, entrepreneurs, micropreneurs, and so on. So they offer quite a lot for joining, which includes up to £60,000 worth of free legal advice in any given year. So you'll probably pay £100 or something, but you get really quite a lot for it. And if you can get known by their press department, you'll get even more for it. So one of the things I got, I wonder if I've got it to hand. Okay. They were looking for a small business to recommend because the Sunday Times said to them, we want to do an article. So I got on with Marks and Spencer head man and me. I did contact him to see if he wanted an afternoon tea, but he never wrote back. And then inside, I got a whole page for free, all because the FSB recommended me. Because the company had stood out, and I contacted them once about something, a story, and I went to them and in their PR department to get some support. And so somehow it had lodged in their memory. Could you do that? And just become lodged in their memory. And another thing I got out of them was about a year and a half ago, Westminster wanted a representative of micro businesses to attend some they're called roundtable discussions up at Westminster, and they called me. And that's just come from joining that thing and then happened to be noticed by the press and PR department. And the thing that they noticed me for, I contacted them, I said, would you like to know something ridiculous that small businesses are having to deal with? My environmental health lady hates me, and she's as challenging as she can be when she turns up. And this week she set me to write an essay called The Life of a Carrot. I kid you not. And when I said, why? She'd said, to prove knowledge from seed to mouth. But it wasn't that. It was because she didn't like me. And I said, can I just ask, did you ask the Chinese, the fish and chips, and the pizza in our nearest village to write an essay called The Life of Carrot? She went, no. I said, have you ever asked anybody else to write The Life? No, just you. So I went to the FSB because I thought it was another ludicrous and hilarious thing. And then, so that's what led on to that. It wasn't designed. I wasn't doing it with artifice, but I'm always amused by these crazy things. So here's one that's not so crazy, but again, it was interesting. Let me share my screen. So we opened a little tea room out in Essex. It's called the Secret Sconery, or if you wish, the Secret Sconery. And this lady here is our MP, Kemi Badenoch, and she came to cut the ribbon, like you do, you know, that sort of thing. Has that gone? And Kemi Badenoch later remembered this. She never forgot having all the afternoon tea. And then she mentioned us in Parliament, and then we ended up in what's called Hansard, which is a detailed account of what goes on in Parliament. What she said about us was actually not true. She said we were sending tea to China. Well, I've never yet sent tea to China, but I don't care. I got loads of publicity out of her saying we did. So these are all some of my tips. I'll be winding up shortly. So I recommend keeping photographs of all sorts of moments. I recommend joining the FSB. I recommend entering competitions. I recommend running competitions, ones that can touch the heartstrings if possible. Out of all the competitions we've ever run, 2 have been outstandingly more successful than the others. One was just frivolously invent a new sandwich. Well, the world invented a new sandwich. And then we picked a winner and we sent them their sandwich along with afternoon tea. And it just got people thinking. It was a bit silly, but it got people thinking. And I hope you're thinking, what would your sandwich be? And some people didn't get it. Somebody wrote cheese and pickle. I went, no, you've got to invent a sandwich. Anyway, but the other one was, who do you know that deserves an afternoon tea to be sent to them? People went mental because it actually wasn't about them. It was about my friend who's getting over breast cancer, and my mum who's this and that, and my uncle that and that. And there was such an outpouring because it was what they could do for someone else, and it made them feel special. In fact, they were both going to get an afternoon tea hamper, them, the nominator and the nominee, and we got swamped. So is there a competition you could do that would actually touch at the heartstrings at all? But also we did a raffle to come and be a scone gnome for a day, and we got 600 people entering for that. So that was an interesting one as well. So enter competitions, create competitions. The newspapers may charge you for doing one via them. You might need to find other methods. And do joint ventures. Is there somebody you can link up with where you can piggyback? We linked up with a woman's clothing brand called East, who had a huge mailing list of about 70,000. And we were to donate a hamper for Wimbledon, but in exchange, they were going to ask their mailing list if they'd like to double opt in to ours. And we got 16,000 new people on our mailing list on the back of delivering one free hamper. Sounds like a bargain to me. And then lastly, bartering. Now you're on a slightly dodgy wicket with the word bribery. So be careful what you do. We didn't used to think about that. I got a whole piece in the Telegraph years ago for sending chocolate cake to a journalist. I don't think that's allowed now. You might have to be more subtle. But recently, not really connected with this, I needed a parking space in Norwich city centre on an ongoing basis. And I found a car park that didn't seem very busy at the weekends. And I found out who owned it. And I bartered. And in exchange for 8 scones, cream and jam delivered once, I have forever access to a free car park space in Norwich every weekend. It's just one of those things. So, you know, are you thinking outside the box? Because there's definitely opportunities there. So I do suggest get speaking about your business, find the fun in it, get photographs taken of what you do and of yourself, enter things, keep your radar open for who you're sitting next to and who you meet and friends of friends and who could you do a joint venture with. And those are some of my tips for, and I've got files and files of newspapers that have run pieces on us and we haven't had to pay for it. So we've been very lucky. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Jane. It was entertaining. Get a round of applause for Jane.
Hey,
Jane, do you mind if we all have a bit of a question?
Go for it.
5 minutes, do you mind? There's a couple of things I wanted to kind of add on from that. Journo request and Journo link, there's 2. are brilliant. One, Jane sends me them all the time, so I don't even have to look myself. But two, when I have looked, I've actually been in Mary Claire magazine. I've been in loads of local kind of magazines and press releases. I've done a NatWest small business 100 top tips thing for NatWest. What else have I done? I've also done, I can't even remember, there's that much stuff, but it all comes from there. And then as soon as Jane's absolutely right, as soon as you start building relationships with people, once I know who the journalists are for Mary Claire or whatever, you've got their email addresses, but also you can follow them on LinkedIn, you can link with them on Twitter, and they'll constantly put out these requests. I've done so many women in business ones, I've done so many, I was single parent running businesses. And it's a great way to build your profile. So that is something massive. Jane, you've also got a massive list, haven't you? Email list and things. And that's something that you...
Yes.
How many have you got on there now?
Yes. Well, I did have 24,000, but GDPR knocked some off for sure. Yes, and I'm not even that good with that stuff. I'm not digital, and I could do a lot better than I do. But yes, building it up, and mostly I've acquired more through joint ventures. And if anybody wants something from us, I say, yeah, that sounds great. I mean, if it's a fit, English cream tea company, I probably wouldn't do one with cigarettes or condoms, or, it's got to be a fit to your company. Women's clothing for East seemed great. And we're happy to invite their mailing list to hop into mine. We did it all legally. So I've done maybe 4 joint ventures. And I had one sort of lined up with Kath Kidston. I think they've run into trouble now. Yeah. But yes, who would be right for you to link up with that isn't going to crash with your business? We don't want that, or take business from you, but you can both support each other. So there's some more food for thought.
And also,
some businesses are more obvious than others.
Sorry,
darling.
And also thinking about what you can give away, because you've got a very physical thing to give away, but you can actually think about something that you can give away for joint venture or competitions.
Yes, that's right. It may be that you're giving away your time, an opportunity, something in reality. Yes, so be creative with it. If necessary, give away something you go and buy. If necessary, give away one of our hampers.
Yeah, double joint venture. Has anyone got any questions for Jane? Anyone want to know anything else? Anyone? Claire?
There's the lovely Claire. Hi, Claire from Senator Penn's.
Hey, hi. Just going back to that journo link and journo request, what do you do?
Oh, it's on Twitter. So if you search it on Twitter,
right. On every site apart from this.
Oh,
I don't use it for anything other than that. I just reply to people's tweets. So there's journo requests, journo request, and also journo link. You can actually join journo link, can't you, Jane? I've never signed up personally.
You can. There's some costs involved, but you'll get regular information of what the journalists are looking for. I mean, I was able to send Claire, I think, a little thing that had come up on the delegate wranglers. So is anybody here involved in a business that would relate to conferences, events, theatres, PR, delegates of any kind? And are you already a member of the delegate wranglers? I'm going to write it into the comments box because it's spelt with a W, just to write. It's a Facebook group. It's a private one. You have to apply. It is Facebook's favorite group ever. Facebook have taken them under their wing because they have tens of thousands of people on it and they all interact like this. And about 3 weeks ago, I saw one saying, we want to give away, I don't know, hundreds of pens. And I thought, oh, I don't do pens, but Claire Hutchinson does. Well, I haven't got one of yours in front of me, Claire. Bad. But there you are. And so I was able to go, oh, Claire, is this you? And a friend of mine makes baby products. And if I see anything about that, oh, is this you? So yes, join the delegate wranglers. You will be swamped with the amount of opportunities that are on there if your business can fit in with that. and you wouldn't make it this week, on Wednesdays between 1 and 3 p.m. as a supplier. I count as a supplier because I'm not a hotel and I'm a supplier. There is #supplier_hour, and I'm able to do a little, oh, this is what we could do for you post. And if I don't do it between 1 and 3, I have to wait a whole week. But meanwhile, though, other people are asking things. Guri, are you on it, darling? Are you on the Delegate Wranglers?
I'm not. I'm just looking at it on Facebook, actually, to join. The Delegate
Yes,
Wranglers,
you have to apply to join.
It's got about 21,000 members.
Well, they've also got an American branch and maybe a Canadian one, and it's huge.
Wow.
And so, for example, they're often looking for unusual gifts or drinks packs that can be sent for Zoom meeting delegates that are separated out. And you could nip in there or contact the cocktail suppliers. There's masses of them that going, we do, drinks by Zoom or whatever it is. Yeah. And so there's opportunities out there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Anybody else got any comments, thoughts, questions?
No, I was just going to say that I'm just ordering my English cream tea basket, actually, for my husband's birthday.
I will be an advocate, because I've actually been to Jane's and had, Claire's got hers there.
Claire's got one that came to Glee.
Oh, you're on mute, Claire. Do you want to mute?
You're on mute, Claire. Oh, no. Hey! Claire's got a little cream tea.
Just before I came on.
So sweet.
I've been to Jane, so I can first-hand say how beautiful the food is.
Oh, bless you. And that's a little cream tea tin. And we do, of course, the great big hampers with the sandwiches and the champagne and all that. Bless your heart.
You've done amazing corporate gifts as well, haven't you, Jane? You've been working with huge companies in corporate gifts.
We have. Do you know, when I said rude is memorable, but we can't really go there, we do have one item that touches on it. For corporates, we offer a wide range of things, including Christmas gifts, and we can brand them, co-brand them with you. But we've got a gift called Sorry Not Sorry. It's our cheapest corporate gift when you just want to, you might have just been late with something, or I don't know, and you just want to send out a little touch to a client just to say, oh, that's not how we meant to treat you. Well, the Sorry Not Sorry gift, it's not very expensive, but it is 2 fingers of shortbread with with tea and jam. And so it's our own little snigger. That's about as rude as the scone gnomes get.
You haven't got a rude bone in your body, have you?
I could work on it. I can.
Jane, don't change. Anyone else? Does anyone else have any thoughts or queries or anything? Chris?
Chris.
Oh yeah, how you doing?
Hello, darling.
It's a bit of a geeky technical question. Just interested, where do you host your email list? I use that campaign, but just interested in what others use.
Right, I'm on Mailjet. Mailjet.com. I wasn't an expert, but I found the others seem to be, when you're over 10,000 on your list, you have fewer choices that are reasonably priced. I presume somebody would have recommended it to me. Mailjet, and it's fine. And you can do all the things separate out and track and trace and see who's opened it and who hasn't and that stuff. But again, I'm not doing it nearly as clever. Well, Sonia, you're quite digital. It's not really my bag. Other people would be able to do it better than me. But, if you've got a great big number, you stand a chance of getting reactions out of people when you write to them.
You've also got a major, you had your YouTube channel as well, didn't you? So you've got, you've built quite a big following.
Well, one video in particular, it's the top 10 tips of English cream tea etiquette. So it's not even catchy, and I've never promoted it. So, excuse me for the you experts out there, but we've got 600 and something thousand viewers and masses of interactions on it. Quite a few of which are rude. One person said, as soon as I heard her say scone instead of scone, I knew she was a dreadful little lower middle class parvenu, that's an upstart, with a hideous conservatory. I always write back. So he said it was a hideous conservatory. That's where we filmed it. And I wrote, it's an orangery.
A lower middle class orangery, thank you.
Oh dear, dear, dear. But anyway, yes.
Everyone.
Fun
Sorry,
videos.
were you going to ask something else? Sorry.
Yes, Guri, I think, was going to say something.
I was just going to suggest to Chris, actually, I've recently started using a tool called Klaviyo, which is also for email marketing, but it's quite intuitive and it plugs into your website, and it's really good because you can set up these flows for automatic email that go, and you can really drill it down. So you can, I know yours is not a product-based business, but in terms of a physical product, but you can say if somebody has bought ginger, for example, offer them, send them a recipe using the ginger drops. So it's really, you can really drill it down and make it very, very specific in terms of what emails.
How much is that per month? Do you know?
It depends on how many subscribers you have. We pay around, I think, £50 per month for it at the moment. 50 or 60, something like that.
I was just asking, so you're the second person that I've heard talk about that. I haven't used it, but I use Kartra, which is $99, which is about, I don't know, £70.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure of what how many people you can actually have on your list, but you can build all your automations off the back of it, your email automations, and also your online courses and that kind of stuff.
Right.
So yeah, so yours was Klaviyo. It's spelled with a K, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, K-L-A.
Joyce has just asked in the chat. Do you mind just putting it in there?
Yeah.
Mine is Kartra.
I used to use MailChimp, but I've just moved to Klaviyo because of its flows. I find them really fun.
Yeah. Yeah, you're the second person. I might look into that. I'm not going to move because I've got all my stuff built on mine, but it's just interesting to know for other people for when we build client stuff. So yeah, thank you. Anyone else got any thoughts, questions for Jane or anyone actually?
Yes.
What? One more thing, actually. What was the KPI course that you were telling us about?
Oh, we loved it, didn't we? 1, 2, 3, 4 of us have been on it, I think, on here, haven't we? 4 of us? Yeah.
Yes, Chris has. Who else has?
Ben has, and me, and you.
Ben has. So have you heard of Daniel Priestley? Well, the course he now runs is under the term DENT, D-E-N-T. It was once KPI, which of course didn't stand for the usual. Oh, look, Ben.
Modelling.
And actually, I'm in that book. Ben, so Daniel kindly did a page on me in that book, which is like, so lucky. So Daniel Priestley, DENT, it's a 9-month incubation to take your business from level, whatever it's at, up to level where you'd like to be. And it concentrates on what's your pitch, what's your product, goes through 5 things beginning with the letter P to really get you in the center of the bullseye in your field, in your territory. So you're the go-to person. Hi, Veronica. And it's an amazing transformation. Oh, bless you. But also what's so cool is you network with 70, it's now 70, it was 50 originally, I think it's 70, 75 other businesses, all hothouse together, and you meet up at weekends or sometimes a long weekend, and then you have homework in between, and you tend to be very much encouraged to write a book. So I've done it twice, and I've written 2 books. This is one, I don't even know where the other one is right now. Come on, Sonia, there she is.
Your book nearly done, Ben.
Ben, did you write? Oh, sorry?
You're on mute, Ben. You're on mute. Ben, you're on mute.
Ben?
Ben, you're on mute.
like that advert. Paula, you're on mute. Yeah, mine's due out April 22nd.
Yay!
Woo!
Chris, you've got yours. You've got your book. Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah. Jane, did you get to number 1? I can't. Did yours get to number? Yeah.
Yes, it's an Amazon bestseller.
Of course it did. With your following as well.
But in fairness, if you're hot-housed with a lot of like-minded people, we'll all support each other and we'll all buy each other's books. This is helpful when you're trying to get to #1 on Amazon. So sometimes it's who you know, and sometimes it's luck. So I could thoroughly recommend the Dent experience, and contact me. I'll put my email in the chat if you want to know more about it. So it's not free, you do pay, but my God, you go on quite the ride.
when I've mentioned to people how much it is, they're all like that, what? And I'm like, I'd do it again, I'd pay again.
Well, I've done it twice.
Yeah, you have done it twice.
I liked it so much.
Yeah, I loved it. I would definitely do it again. It transformed my business. And I think within, I don't know, probably a couple of months of starting, I'd already made the money back, you know, that I'd spent on the course. So yeah, but it's not the cheapest, is it?
Yes. Guri, I think you'd love it, actually.
Yeah.
Yes, I think you would. I don't know everybody's businesses so well, but something to look into. But contact me if you want me to find out more information or put you in touch with them directly or anything like that.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
I don't know if anyone's on Clubhouse, because Daniel Priestley speaks a lot on Clubhouse. He's off. I heard him at the weekend talking about his books and ordered them both. I'd heard of the books before, but ended up ordering them. And also Rob Moore, who I think that they do quite a bit together.
Yeah,
Rob Moore was promoting his new book and offering, if people went and pre-ordered it at that point on the call, he was offering kind of bonuses that they would get sort of an hour with him and things like that. So yeah, definitely worth listening to him if you're on there.
It's PR again. It's all about getting known. I mean, Daniel gives away copies of his book quite often. He said, that's fine. It's a business card. It's a bit posher, slightly more expensive than a business card, but give it away. Send it in advance to the person you want a meeting with. They may never read it. It's not that the quality of the book may be the best or your writing, they may never read it. The fact that you've sent them a book with your name on just gives you credibility. I run an etiquette event, and finding out if your palace ready with your tea time etiquette. But my credentials is having written a book on afternoon tea. People will accept that that's a fair enough credential to qualify me. So again, could you write a book? Natasha, could you write one about your experience designing for these people? I would be interested in it.
Probably, I could write about fittings, and how that's what I'm kind of studying more at the moment, about how
Amazing.
Garments should fit, and yeah. So yeah, it's a good subject.
Food for thought.
Jane, can I send my daughters on your etiquette course? They eat like animals.
They've got it from somewhere,
Well,
then.
Yeah, definitely.
then I still do spill it down me. I'm a very mucky butt myself, but I know what to do.
You wouldn't be any good at the naturist thing then, Jane. You have to tuck your napkin in.
I nearly joined them because what I hadn't realised, I was all suited and booted, and what I hadn't realised was the hotel was at 92 degrees to keep them cosy. And I was sweltering. I literally had boots on and a suit and this. And honestly, if I'd waited much longer, I'd have had to have joined in. So, horses for courses.
Jane, you are the person who has just got the funniest stories, and I think that's what makes you so memorable. And it even sticks out in my mind. You split your trousers on stage and all sorts of stuff. So you were talking about being memorable, but that really is memorable.
Wrong reasons, and I don't just mean I split my trousers. I mean the whole seam from my tummy right round underneath me and right up to the back. So they were only hanging on by the waistband. They would gone like those cowboy chaps things. There was that was a drama. I carried on.
You needed Natasha there to come and fit them back together.
Well, yes, so I took my cardigan off and I put it round my waist back to front so I didn't frighten the horses.
Anyone else? Any final thoughts or questions about how you can implement this into your businesses? Any more questions? Veronica, I know you came a little bit late, but I did ask Jane if I can record it, which I've done, so I can send you the recording so you can.
Could you send all of us the recording, or is it just Veronica?
No, yeah, the recording I can send.
I think this is such a great talk by Jane. You know, everybody.
I know, she's just nice, isn't she? I can. I've just downloaded it onto Zoom, so I'll get the link. And if you follow me on social media or LinkedIn or wherever, I can send it over to you, or I'll put my email address in the chat.
Thanks again, Sonia.
But I will also put it on social media. If you follow me on LinkedIn, it's Sonia with a J and Lisa with an A. I'm the only one in the world.
Good,
Which
well done.
Doesn't surprise people that I broke the mold in more ways than one.
Bless it. Joyce, did you want to say something, darling?
You're on mute, Joyce.
You're on mute.
You're on mute.
You're on mute.
You're still on mute.
Hey!
Sonia, will you email it to us, or should we just grab it from LinkedIn?
Either one, if you want it. If I'll post it on social media, and then if you email me, if you want it on email, I can email it as well. Yeah, don't worry.
Okay. And Jane, thank you. That was just brilliant. I've got some ideas for joint venture. I will contact you, Jane, because I think Sonia's sort of helping me, and I've got a few ideas. So I'll be in touch.
You're welcome. And my email's in the chat there, darling.
I've written it down already.
Yes, thank you. In fact, part of going on this DENT course, this KPI thing, has made us all, we're wanting to support and help and reach out and so on. And actually, that's one thing I should say is one of my mottos. If you don't know the answer, ask other people. It's not how do I do this, it's rearranging HOW into who. Who do I know that I could ask? So for instance, Chris gave me some really great tips and advice last year on nutrition and weight loss strategies and all sorts of things. And he did it as an amazing pal. So there's something very bonding by being in these sorts of groups and so on. People invariably will help other people. Guri, you once sent me something for free, and I've never forgotten that. You once sent me some a spice, something about the spices, but a little glass that you could, a little cute shaped thick glass to drink hot drinks from.
Yes, yeah.
And you did, and I've never forgotten it. So reaching out to others is another way of being memorable, and if you can help someone on the way, and I'm not saying I'm trying not to be altruistic, oh, I'm going to get something out of this, that's not really my meaning, but if you can, you know, share the love and the support to other entrepreneurs and business people, happy to do it. So just looking here, you see, Duncan, you're at an insurance company. I'm not sure how I can help you, but if I can, you let me know, darling.
If you can make me sexy, then you've achieved great things.
Duncan, you just need a bit of red lippy. You'd be fine.
Duncan,
I've got a highlighter here.
It's pink. That's a good start.
Have you ever watched First Dates, Duncan?
Oh, yeah.
I've never heard of it, but a friend of mine has.
Well, believe me, you're a catch.
It's
turned from networking to speed dating.
It's support. It's all about support.
Yeah. So, but that's all well and good. But have you bought any insurance?
Now you're going to have to chat my husband up for that. That's it. We're a classic household, blue jobs and pink jobs. I used to mow the lawn. We've got a ride on lawnmower, but I'd write my name in the lawn because I'm very creative and having fun. And then my husband couldn't bear it, and he'd have to go out and do the straight lines. So mowing the lawn is both pink and blue.
Pink if you want to name Jane in the lawn.
Well, George mowed the lawn when we had a family wedding. We've got a field, and he mowed it, and it was going to be a helicopter landing or takeoff for the bride and groom. And what we didn't know is George, one of our sons, had written FUCK off in the grass with the mower. So all the planes going over and then the helicopter got George's lovely little message. That was sweet.
You obviously didn't pass on the no rudeness gene down to George then.
No, I did not.
Just to add to that story, he works in the circus. Jane's one of those people that you just couldn't make it up. It's just like more and more funny things keep going on.
Yes, no, George is with Cirque du Soleil, and except of course right now there are no circuses, so we have our George with us, but he's not allowed to mow anymore.
Oh yeah, stay away. We've got just a few more minutes. Has that helped everyone? Has anyone got any final thoughts, any final questions? Otherwise we can all just keep in touch and follow everybody on social media and everything else.
Yes, that's a good thing.
Oh, thanks so much for coming along, everybody. Hopefully it was really, really helpful. We'll be doing this again next month. We'll have another speaker. Last month was branding. This month was PR. So we'll have another speaker next month. So please drop in. I'll drop it on email. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you next month. Please keep in touch.
Thank you.
That's been all right. Take care. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Jane.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, dear.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Oh, there's Liga and there's Natasha.
Oh, thank you, Jane. Was that okay?
Of course, it was my pleasure. You look good. You look like you're luminescent.